at some point, we have to stop it. She poked the bear when she decided to go against Zion Fair. And the community, I had over 100 and some signatures from this community. She and her crew got on that call, and they decided we're gonna fight Zion Fair, who wasn't asking for anything but was gonna provide something for seniors. We're still gonna build that, by the way. Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Colby Owens.
Shané, Darby.
And welcome to The Source. And happy, as we're celebrating Black History Month, I pray that you all will take some time and do some reflection, recognizing that these 29 days are not the only days of our history. We celebrate Black History Month all year. But I do hope you'll take some time to reflect on the accomplishments that African-American people have made while being in America.
And I just want to notate that in Black History Month, one of your favorite people was born in Black History Month.
One of my favorite people?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for remembering my birthday.
No, it's actually, my birthday's on February 3rd. I'm born in a great month of Black history.
Oh, wow.
You feel me?
No wonder you're so aggressive in your approach in ensuring the Black rights and African-American rights. This is excellent.
I love being born in February.
Okay,
Black History Month.
And also, Valentine's Day.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah, you
But
do.
Black Love Day is on February 13th.
See, there you go.
feel
Black
me?
Love Day. Okay. There you go. I feel you real good. This is wonderful. I wasn't born in the month of February. Were you really born in February?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. February what?
20th. I was born on President's Day, 95. During that snowstorm.
So many symbolisms.
So are you at the line of being a Pisces or are you a
I'm the first day, yeah.
You're the first day. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they talk about signs and so.
I was just making sure,
making sure that he wasn't the same
Aquarius
as she.
feel some type of way. I'm just saying. They'd be like, yeah, you not one of us.
Yeah, he not.
And that's all right too. Yes. So just real quick, I just want to just make sure that we are all right with the news for this week. I heard that there was one shooting. Anybody aware of that this week?
Yeah. So on Wednesday morning, there was a shooting in Adams Ford that left a 42-year-old man injured. He was taken to the hospital in stable condition, but there's been no additional information. And then also there's been some word that there was another shooting earlier in the week on Monday that resulted in a young 20-something-year-old losing their life. But I have not seen any information come out on that.
That's not unusual.
That is not unusual, but I do know it did happen in the city of Wilmington. I actually know his cousin.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I just wish that we could probably get some media outlets that can really report the news and keep the community updated beyond us doing what we do, trying to get word on the street, and then we go verify and we're able to verify those things. So we're going to spend some time after we get out of this Black History Month in trying to talk more about the shootings. But the shootings, I guess, are they up at this point?
They are up compared to last year as of right now.
Okay, very good. Not very good that they're up, but very good on your reporting. Let's turn our attention real quickly to the city of Wilmington's race. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it because I don't know if there's any new updates on the mayoral as well as the city council, because I really want to give this corner some time because I want to make sure that we really know who's running thus far and who's already filed. Any updates on that?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I haven't heard much.
Okay. So right now we know officially Velda Potter Jones have applied, and I think you applied. I keep calling it applied, but what is it called? Filed. And I think that's it for the city council and the city at large. The treasurer slot, nobody has filed.
No one has filed for anything else. There's only been two spots that have been filed for. But again, in that mayor's race, as of right now, I'm just hearing it's two candidates right now. I'm sure there may be a third that pops up. I'm sure they're looking for someone.
You sure they're looking for someone? But you don't think they can have a one-on-one and see who the city really wants?
No.
The last time we had a one-on-one was back when Baker was still in office. I don't think they want to have that anymore.
Oh, okay. Very good. Well, that's all the news for the front end of our show. We'll be right back with Shané's scoop. We'll be right back.
Tune in at 8 a.m. every Sunday for our worship services. Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook Live by typing Zion Fair Baptist Church. We are Wilmington's most exciting church.
Hello, I'm Jamal Womack. I'm the director of Olympus Academy here in Wilmington, Delaware, and we just wanted to let you know we are here. If you're interested in learning about basketball, if you're interested in getting better in basketball, if you're interested in finding a school that puts all of that together, the academics, the basketball portion, and if you're not local, you can actually stay on campus with a staff that's committed to making sure you're safe, making sure that everything operates in a function to progress your career and your academics. We are the school for you. We are growing. We're gonna go so high in a limited amount of time with your help. We can't do it alone. So if you heard what I just said and you believe that Olympus Academy is the right place for someone you may know, whether it's your son, whether it's your nephew, whether it's your grandson, please contact me. You can reach me at my personal email, which is jmack03@icloud.com, or my work number, which is 718-483-0290.
And we're back. Well, what's going on with Shané Scoop?
Yeah, no, I wanted to talk about some pressing issues. One is there's a Water for All campaign through the Fees and Fines group that I had talked about several times. Mm-hmm. And in that, they're having these community meetings. One of the first ones, I'm going to bring it up here on my phone, will be on Monday, February 12th at the Wilmington Powell Center at 6:30 to 7:30, an hour to have a community conversation about water. And why that is so important to have right now is that we're about to enter into budget season. Mm-hmm. And there's pretty much this, in simple forms, two funds, right? And you have the water sewer fund. And in that, we're going to be talking about water rates. We're going to be talking about water affordability, tiered water billing systems, like how do we develop that? So there's going to be a lot of conversations around water shutoffs, around water foreclosure. So those conversations are coming up. So this meeting is to kind of have those conversations with the community, collect some data, and then figure out a way to try to mobilize people so that they can come out when these legislations and when the budget hearing comes up around like water shutoffs. Like, I don't believe in water shutoffs at all, right? But I tried and I failed at that legislation. So then I retweaked it and came back and said no water shutoffs for elderly, people who have children under the age of 5 and disabled, right? So that legislation is going to come back up for city council to vote on. Instead of shutting people's water off, especially those specific groups, let's work with them and on creating a plan to get them up to date on their water bill, right? What resources are out there? What ways can we work with people? We do have a water affordability program. You can apply. There's a lot of money in it still, up to $1,500, but you have to be 3 months behind on your bill to be able to take advantage of it. You have to be the primary, you have to live in your residence and be the primary owner. And if you are a renter, the only way you can apply is if the water bill is in your name. But that's really rare in our city. So when they, yesterday when they brought up the conversation about water and the fund not being used, I said most of the people who need the fund are actually renters. Right? But they don't have access to that.
But how
fund.
are you paying a bill if you're not, how are you paying water bill if it's not in your name?
It's assessed on to your rent.
To your
right?
rent.
So if, let's say 1 month it's $48, then they will send you a bill for an additional $48.
That's unfair.
Yes, and then let's say the landlord
legal?
doesn't pay it. Yeah, it's legal. If the landlord doesn't pay it, then your water gets shut off and then you have to leave the house.
Even if you paid it.
Even if you paid it.
So you could pay your landlord, but your landlord didn't make that payment to the water bill?
That's unfair. That's unfair. I'm sorry. And the poor always is prostituted, and that's just unfair. I mean, I understand if you're saying it's legal for me as a landlord to take your money and I don't pay it, and then my water gets cut off, and the city is saying, no, we're not going to help you because that's not in your name. That is not fair. Somebody need to look at that legislation.
Yeah,
that
legislation
I agree. Looked at again.
And I at one point in time, I asked if one of my list of legislations that landlords can't renew their business license that they have behind water bill. So what's happening is the city, even if you're a landlord with debt in your water bill, they're allowing you to keep recycling.
It's too much.
Or if you're a slumlord like AJ Pacormi.
Too. That too.
Just saying. Shout out to AJ. But yeah, no, that's also why Sherry Dorsey Walker has a bill, the rent escrow bill that's now in the Senate. With Senator Marie Pickney, that would also help address that. So again, if your landlord's not doing what they're supposed to, you could go to a rent escrow account and still put your money in there and not be penalized for it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that coming forward, but I just think that's unfair. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's the water conversation. So the flyer should be up on the screen. We can, if you can come out, support, let's have that conversation and see what legislation that I need to submit or whoever else needs to submit on city council to make water more affordable, make sure water rates make sense, and that we have just sensible legislation that's being passed around water. So the next conversation is about development, right? So development matters, and it matters in all parts of our city. So one of the big conversations about development now is in the Southbridge area, which you're located. There is the community in Short. They want a warehouse. There's this warehouse that's going to be built as you're coming over the bridge, coming into, if you're coming from East Side over into Southbridge, they want to build this warehouse. They were able to partner with community people, the Civic Association, the CDC, and coming up with like community benefits agreements, right? So saying that if you're going to develop in our neighborhood, then you'll get money for your community center, or we'll guarantee jobs. And now they're saying they're going to build homes next to the warehouse. So there's a lot of agreements in the agreement, which I don't know all of them, but I know there's a lot of agreements in that. So with the community benefits agreement, this is the first time it has happened, I think, on this large scale in the city of Wilmington. And I think that this will set a pathway for development in the city to change the way it looks. Because currently right now, community doesn't have a voice in development happening. When development happens, when these large high-rise apartments come up, BPNG isn't saying we're going to have affordable housing. They're not saying we're going to build a community center. They're not saying we're going to provide services for the community since we're building in it. They're just building, right? City council don't even get notification, right? We just drive in one day and see buildings up, right? So that conversation I think is really key and important as we talk about Southbridge and the work that they're doing around that and finding ways to support them. So I know the zoning board meeting is going to be on Monday. I have the flyer. I'm about to bring it up here, but it's going to be on Monday. I believe it's at 5:30. It should be coming up here. So, it's February 12th at 5:30 at the City Council building. And there's also a Zoom link that you can join too if you want to come virtual. Yeah. But the community has to come out the vote and show and just say what they want.
Right. But what I want to do is, when I saw that on your list of things you want to talk about today, I did some research because at one point, the news media, what do you call those people, the Delaware Online, they asked me what was my position on this. And at that time, my position was I supported it, but I, since then, have changed my position. And I'm gonna tell you why, and Shané, you are an exceptionally bright individual, but I went and I pulled the community investment, community benefits agreement. And after looking at it, people can promise you anything. They could say, we're gonna build 5 million houses, we're gonna do this, that, and the other, but what they put in their agreement is something that you can hold legally. And then when I looked at the legal document, and I have it here, and for those of you who want to sue me, make sure you bring your document with you. This agreement is worth $250,000 that this company wants to give the community development corporation. My issue, $100,000 in cash go to the CDC. $25,000 go to to Southbridge, a civic association, and 10% of that $25,000 go to the CDC. The Henrietta Place,
Johnson.
$25,000. ARCS Learning Center, $25,000. Where my problem is this. I said, why is this commit? This is the exact same, and I'm not really talking to you right now, but this is the exact same committee, the CDC, Southbridge Community Development Corporation, that attacked Zion Fair, who wanted to build senior housing, not the Civic Association. It wasn't, because the Civic Association said very clearly, we support you. But it was Hanifa and her crew with the CDC. When I looked at this, I said, why is this cash in there, $100,000 to the CDC? That means you got to worry about the accountability piece. But then I said, well, who's on this CDC? And when I pulled up on their website, because that's all I'm doing, and this is going to be on your screen in a second, who's the executive director? Hanifa Shabazz. Who are the members? Who are the members? When I look at the members, only one person from Southbridge. And you could tell she was with them, but you got Charles Fleming, who owns a property over here but doesn't live over here. You have Rashima Bay, who don't live over here. You have Harrington doesn't live over here. Wes doesn't live over here. None of these people are from Southbridge. This is the problem I'm having, Shané, because I'm going to probably show up at the meeting. The problem I'm having is this could be the best opportunity for a black community. But this group got together with the leadership of its executive director, and they cherry-picked some of the people who are getting money, not even from Southbridge. When I'm looking at this, and I have it in front of me, and I'm going to keep it available, and put it on our website. When I looked at it, I said, Shané didn't do her work because she's too thorough to be able to do her homework and to see this. Everybody who signed the community benefit agreement, like, for example, Hanif, he's no longer a part of the Southbridge Association. Like, what's these names on here? All these people are stakeholders, the ARC and others. You even got Reverend Powell on here, who's from Mount Joy. You have Shy, who is from the CDC. I'm just looking at names real fast, and we'll put their names up on the screen. Fitzwater. You got all these people who's the executive director for the Housing Authority, who signed off on this agreement in 22, and none of them live in Southbridge. None of this, even the one thing that was going to go to Southbridge right away would be Eden Park. The amendment, because I did all this research last night when I saw this, because I'm sick and tired of these people playing games with me. The amendment for the development community benefit agreement, Eden Park is taken out. It's right in there. I highlighted it. It's very clear. It says that is to be stricken and no longer relevant. The one thing that would have helped Southbridge without there being a special interest, when you see these names of who's behind it, when you see these names of who's getting the money, it's the same thing which the city council president probably had to answer to the courts for. At some point, we have to stop it. She poked the bear when she decided to go against Zion Fair. And the community, I had over 100 and some signatures from this community. She and her crew got on that call, and they decided we're gonna fight Zion Fair, who wasn't asking for anything but was going to provide something for seniors. We're still going to build that, by the way. I am concerned. I am concerned that this is a retirement plan for the executive director. Now, you want to challenge me, but I'm going off of facts. Another thing I want to say, and then I'm going to let y'all talk as much as y'all want to talk, but I got my facts today. Another thing, and you're an elected official, so be careful carrying people water, because you don't want to ever be associated with people who playing games. But when I saw certain things, I said, how is this the truth? How can you say you want $100,000 in cash? It's in the agreement. It's in the agreement. And I'm looking at the construction. It said Southbridge, you got to have a certain amount of black-owned construction. People who signed this are construction. Even Norman Oliver's name is on here as one of the people he didn't sign. I don't want to never lie. But his name is as one of the people who are in agreement with, but he didn't sign the notarized statement. It's just there. This is unfair. This is what you call PREY. Preying on poor people. I am not for this. And then when I saw the building, because I looked up everything, when I saw the building, and you'll see a picture of this shortly, it looks nice. It looks nice. I am not for the mayor of the city of Wilmington. I was going to be for this project just because he was against it. But now I'm for it. I'm sorry. I'm against it. Because look at who's behind the scenes collecting the money. The people who were considered to get any money were people who were kind and nice to the executive director. Zion Fair has over 30 employees. We're the third largest employer in this Southbridge section. Did we get even a consideration? No, I'm not mad about that. We don't need any help. But what I'm mad about is that once again, you have powerful black people preying on black people during Black History Month. We have to stop it. And I'm ready to fight. Because at the end of the day, this is wrong. These rich people how is it that now, and I found out today also, this morning, that there's a petition going around in Southbridge, and several people have signed it. And they have made it clear they are against. The CDC is not the community. The CDC is not the community. The CDC is a group of people who were put together, went and got a 501c3 under the leadership of its leader, Hanifa Shabazz. If you're gonna sue me, because I'm prepared to fight it. We have to stop playing these games with black people. And then we go try to find people to carry our water. This should not go forward. And if I have anything to do with it, just as you stopped Zion Fair's project when we didn't ask for nothing but just a variance. I'm ready to go ahead forward and show how people are trying to profit off of poor people. What in this community, and I want you to read it and come back if you want to, either one of the two of you. I want you to read it. This would be the greatest thing in the world. To have a community benefit agreement, this would be the greatest thing in the world for a community that is struggling. But look at where all the money is going. And I have this available. Anybody need me? Send me an email. I'll send you the community agreement. It's public record. This is illegal. It's shameful. And I'm not going to support it. I'm sorry for my long dissertation, but I just pulled this together this morning because I wanted to see what was going on with it. And then all this stuff just started popping up, and this is just wrong. I'm finished with it, but you have anything else? Y'all have anything else they want to share?
You want to add anything? No, okay. Yeah, no, so I'm in support of it after speaking to like Wiley Rushton and the lawyers and the attorneys involved in it and other people who live within Southbridge too who are community members. But I'm
trying to find one. I'm trying to find one.
I can connect you to them.
Yeah, I do that because everybody else I'm talking to is saying they are not for it, especially that petition. You'll see that at the meeting tomorrow.
No, I heard about the petition. Petition. Yeah. So the other part about Development Matters is Gibraltar. So have you guys heard about Gibraltar? So now this is over in the 8th District.
Okay.
So right behind Mayor Pazicki's house, there is this old historic building. Some old white person lived in there or something. And it's been sitting there for, I guess, a decade now, or for a while. So Mayor Mike Pazicki now wants to develop it. At first, he wanted to do like high-end apartments or restaurants, and the people in the 8th District did not want it. So there's a lot of discussion back and forth, and there has been a lot of confusion in regards to now who owns it, what's going to happen with it, and it's just a lack of transparency from the administration on the development. And again, it goes with the theme of community not being involved in decision making when it comes to development in the city. It's happening in the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 3rd, the 4th district, where in every single part of the city, the mayor, Mike Pazicki, is attacking and not including city and community people in that conversation. So I wanted to keep people abreast of that. Twice that
in the 8th district?
In the 8th district, yep. Yeah, his own voter base. You feel me? Like his own voter base, right? So in that, in regards to Gibraltar, we asked for a public meeting, a hearing to happen at the Community Development Urban Planning in January. It then got removed out on the agenda, right? They're saying, oh, we don't have time to present on it. We're going to wait till February. February gets here, they remove it again. So there is conversations about how Gibraltar, or questions on how the city moved Gibraltar from city ownership to the land bank ownership and why they did that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So
That's
people have a
strategic.
lot of
That's
questions,
strategic.
right? About why it happened. One city council didn't know. We weren't notified of it. We don't know when things like that happen. I found out from the 8th District community that it happened, right? So those conversations on how money was transferred, who got it, how it got it, needs to be answered. But the administration is not said they don't want to come and present about it. When clearly in the charter, city council has the power to, I don't want to call it like a subpoena, but to have any department come and speak at a meeting. They're denying me that right in regards to Gibraltar. So the chairman agrees with the administration's position. So Councilmember Maria Cabrera and then also their own 8th District Nathan Fields are both okay with removing it from the agenda.
And that's because Bud told her to do that.
I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to laugh, but this
Like,
is crazy.
it's wild,
it's
isn't
crazy.
it?
You can't even write this stuff.
I just want to correct the record because I know the media put out that, the city is spending $900,000 to purchase the land and to acquire them and fix it up and everything. But what they fail to talk about is the $250,000 that has already been put into it, right? And the continuation of money that's already going into it outside of that $900,000. While the city is also turning down applications from nonprofits who are actually serving the community here, who are asking for smaller amounts of money, $50,000, $100,000,
Or water bill being paid.
being told that there's no money.
Yeah.
But somehow there's money for this, but there's not money to help the residents.
Yeah.
Not money to help the nonprofits that serve the residents, since you have cut almost every department back. Constituent service is down to 2 people now? And then they say call 311, but 311 ain't even from Wilmington. You ask them what block you on and they confused. But yet we have all this money for this project.
And you said you're trying to push the water bill?
Trying to push the water bill?
To be able to not cut it off for people?
Yeah, to not
And
cut off.
we don't have no money because we need the revenue, right? But yet you're saying that we got...
No. We'll cut your water off. This city, right? This administration, we'll cut your water off and make you suffer and be dehumanizing and inhumane about it, right? But hey, if we have a vacant property that's dilapidated, that has overgrown weeds, we won't charge them. We won't fine them for their overgrown weeds, because I get an instant ticket if my grass grows too much.
Yes, right.
Right? But they don't get nothing. But hey, let's give them $1.3 million.
They're very generous with commercial entities like LLCs and businesses, because for even water, they do not do water shutoffs for commercial. So I can own a restaurant, I can rack up $10,000 and they will not shut you off. But if I am a regular person, everyday Shané with my 3 kids in my home and I can't pay my water bill, they will cut me off.
Unacceptable.
Wow. So just my last thing I want to hit on is that there is an event on February 23rd at Sam's Church. It's going to be talking about the Palestinian. So Sam's Church is on
719 North Shipley.
719. So we gonna have the flyer up. I had sent it over. So with the location where Sam's Church is here in Wilmington. But we're gonna be having a conversation on the Black and Palestinian solidarity, and we're also going to be explaining the history of the Palestinian-Israel conflict. So for people who want to learn more, be in a very safe space to have that discussion and to ask questions to some experts. So we have Speaker Representative Medina Wilson Anton, Speaker Jeffrey Richardson, Speaker Dr. Czar, and Speaker Rob Abel. They are all from different walks of life who are going to come together to have this conversation about the conflict. So we know as of today, the war is still happening. The genocide is still happening. Over 28,000 people have died as of February 6th.
Sad.
Right? And across the world, people are calling for ceasefire. The majority of countries want the ceasefire on this war. And it has not happened. Right. Well, it happened for a short
4
time.
days.
Well, just
Well,
4 days.
it did happen. It happened for 4 days and then they went back. Right. So it happened for 4 days, but there's still like some illegal things happen in regards to like what type of bombs you can use or what can be.
Bombs, I think
where they're bombing, like those things
It's
are
indiscriminate bombing.
Yeah.
The U.S. or the World Court has even said that after a presentation in a case made by South Africa, that
I was gonna shout them out. Yep.
that this is the blueprint to a genocide, and I don't consider this a war, because a war you have to have two conflicting militaries. This is a well-funded, well-established military attacking citizens.
And saying, I guess, basically that because the people we're trying to get is under them, we just gonna blow up everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna blow up everybody, and we're trying to get our hostages back. You know, so we're just gonna blow the whole building up and then say, "Where's my hostages?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And but I wanted to shout out South Africa, because we know most people know the history of South Africa with the racial segregation that happened there, apartheid, very similar to what happened here in the United States ground. But in South Africa, what happened with them, and the classes and the ruling that happened there, and Nelson Mandela and the work he was able to do there. He had a relationship with the Palestinian people when he was alive, and as he was fighting for the rights and justice and the freedom for Black people in South Africa, right? So he had a alliance with the Palestinian people, and they're staying true to that and maintaining that. And they did something very rare. They went to the international court, and they're bringing a case against Israel for genocide against the Palestinian people. So that is happening. And they're asking for Israel to be held accountable and for the war or for the genocide to stop, right? So because it's a lot of death, destruction, and just pure illegal destruction happening.
And this is the time when politics is very hard and dirty. But we're going to talk about that in another segment.
Yes.
We'll be right back.
New guests, new conversations, new stories. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. Grab your cup of coffee and tune in with Dr. Curry for weekly episodes of Coffee with Curry.
Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube every Sunday by typing E-Zion Fair Baptist Church.
Oh my God, help me today. Which means every storm is a school. Every trial is a teacher. Every experience is an education. And every difficulty is development. We
are Wilmington's most exciting church.
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress, and I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, and what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
And we're back. What's going on with Coby's Corner?
So I want to start off talking about something we've talked about recently, especially leading up to the end of 2023, which is hiring and people, residency. We talked a lot about that in the city of Wilmington. And I just want to say one of the narratives that went around during that is, people don't want to work. It's very difficult to hire people right now. Well, I just want to say the state of Delaware, right, who pays a little, better than the city, has hired a record of 4,516 state employees in 2023. That is a record. It's a 22% increase over the previous record. But I just want to state, one of the reasons why so many people are signing up for state jobs isn't because they can live anywhere in the state, but it's because in recent years, state salaries have been increased by an average of 31%. Oh, wow. They're paying people for their talents. And also, very similar to what Sherelle Parker did up in Philly, is they eliminated the bachelor requirements for hundreds of positions that they have now been able to fill.
Thank you.
And guess what? Those people in those positions are doing a great job in it. Yeah. Again, they put all these extra requirements on some of these positions and then complained about not being able to hire.
I heard you say that a couple of weeks ago. I didn't know that. I didn't know that in the city they put all these requirements.
At one point in time, and this was a while ago, at one point in time, you had to have a associate's degree to pick up trash. So again, this is just what we deal with here when people get in these positions of power and make all these recommendations to hook up their friends and everything, and then get all mad and then say, we need to remove the residency requirement. I'm just saying, we can look at our friends up in Philly. We can look at our state, how our state's doing it as well too. But I don't know what it is about this administration and not working well with other governments.
Well, I hope
he had an issue with Newcastle County too.
But I hope the new government will listen.
Absolutely. I wanted to give another update on the Mach 2, which is the Mid-Atlantic clean hydrogen hub that's coming here. It's funded by the bipartisan infrastructure money. It's chaired by Colin O'Meara, who's the National Wildlife Federation CEO and former DEMRAC secretary here. Again, this is promoting the growth of the the energy industry. We also know that it's been the industry is growing faster than the workforce. So a part of this, I know there's groups all across the tri-state area, including LEAP, P2A, who are working with the hub to kind of develop a new cohort of workers to get ready for when that project does start here. It's a $7 billion project. There's going to be a lot of money. They have CBAs with the community, with all the three states, the South Philly, South Jersey, and then the Delaware area, to make sure that we're putting local people to work. So if you know anyone who's interested, please have them reach out. They just started a cohort. They'll be doing more cohorts in the future, but you can go to their website, reach out to them, just to make sure that we're prepared and we have the workforce prepared for when this project does start. It should be starting in 2025.
Gotcha.
And again, there's going to be a lot of money out there that I really want to make sure we have access to and that we know about that's coming up. They're really big on organized labor, educational institutes, and making sure that there's strategic alignment with this, and it's creating jobs across the board. Next, I want to talk about the upcoming referendums, and I'm moving through this fast because I know we're short on time. But I want to talk about a referendum that's happening in my area. I talked about the APO 3. They have 3 referendums that all failed. The Friends of Brandywine Referendums Committee has been pushing very hard to engage the community, doing information sessions, town halls, presentations at your civic association. They either have what is the tax credit for seniors and everything. Brandywine School District has a operating referendum request on the ballot the day before Valentine's Day on February 13th, so next Tuesday. From 12 to 8, you can go and vote. And an operating referendum is funds that cover the day-to-day operating costs of the district, which is textbook, curricular resources, technology, transportation, sports, student activities, specialized equipment, employee costs, substitutes, maintenance of the buildings and grounds. This is not a capital fund. So this is not building a new building, parking lot renovation, major renovations, additional classrooms, a new wing to the building or anything, a roof replacement. This is a operational request. It has not, they are still operating off the 2016 operating referendum that passed. So again, we want to make sure that we come out and support that. But it's not just the Brandywine School District that has one coming up. A lot of school districts have them coming up over the next few weeks, I believe. Colonial is February 29th. Red Clay is the 28th. Mm-hmm. Smyrna, if you're in the Smyrna area, is March the 9th, and Cape Henlopen down in Sussex area is March 26th. So those are the next 5 that are coming up. Again, Brandywine on the 13th, Red Clay on the 28th, and Colonial on the 29th. Those are the 3 of the school districts that cover the city of Wilmington area. So again, we want to make sure that we get out there and support them. I know people don't like raising taxes. I don't like my taxes being raised, but I would prefer my taxes be raised for our schools because I know how important our education system is, and we are far behind where we should be across the board for all 19 of our school districts. The last point I have today is happening right now is SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, is hearing whether or not Trump is eligible to be on the ballot. Predictions. And when we're recording this, it's right before they made their decision. And I'm going to let you go to your report. Do you think that the Supreme Court, that conservative Supreme Court, is going to remove him from the ballot?
No,
they're not going to remove him from the ballot.
I'm saying they are for reasons, but my reasons don't make sense.
I say they're going to shift. They're going to shift it. They're going to say, "Hey, Congress, you have to make this decision to kind of take the pressure off of them." That's what I really think is going to happen, or they're just going to throw it out altogether.
But in actuality, the only reason why I think they could really say that he should be not on the ballot, that he should be on the ballot, is that they can define that 14th Amendment, and it does say insurrectionist. And is he or is he not an officer? That's the question. So I'm gonna watch. If they give the answer of he is an officer, there's no way in the world he could be on that that ballot. Good. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off.
But yeah, definitely, like you said, the focal point of this litigation is going to be Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which is engaged in is really the line that says engaged in insurrection. Was this an insurrection that happened on January 6, 2021? What they're going to use is his very public Twitter account in which he was calling for them to take the Capitol. His speech prior to the rally as well, too, as he sent his troops out. He's going to defend that he did not know that they were going to break into the Capitol. He was at the White House. He didn't know what was going on.
He wanted to go down there with him.
Yeah, I know he wanted to go on. They're going to use text messages from his own son, from his chief of staff, from both the leaders on both sides of the Congress, the Senate, and the House, of them begging him to do something, and he thinking it's funny. And also, they're probably going to have some evidence from Mike Pence as well, too, the main target of it. He made reference to Mike Pence being very weak and not being able to follow through to be loyal to him, which led to many of those protesters out there wanting to hang him, as well as wanting to hang Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer.
Not Jeffries.
Well, they had to throw the black man in there, even though he was just the caucus chair at that time. I'm just saying, Trump and the Klan go way back. But again, this is going to be a very pivotal moment in America. This is actually going to define what that vague language truly means until there is actual law that is passed to actually redefine it. We saw what happened with Roe versus Wade. Many people thought that was settled case law. It was not. It was overturned. So again, this will be one step, but again, we will have I say, regardless of what happens here, there still needs to be some legislation that passed that defines this and probably defines some of the vague language throughout the Constitution altogether.
Well, I mean, Congress can't get themselves together. They can't pass legislation. I mean, they so dysfunctional. It's not even funny. It's almost like another council that I know, but I'm not going to say any names.
What government is functional?
No, there are some who are functional, honestly, and I give credit to because even our state, that government is functional. No, the House, they do crazy stuff, but they're functional. I didn't say they were perfect, because that would be wrong totally. But I also think that the county, it doesn't, because I be here in the street be cussing everybody out, and then they do what they got to do. But I just don't believe that one man can put his thumb on stuff and it just happened. People who wanted this legislation for the border, and they'll never be able to get what they were going to get in that last legislation. I don't care. But whatever the Supreme Court decide to do, I hope they realize, and they're not watching us, but I hope they realize that this is going to be the precedent for what is to come. So the next person get in may not be a Republican. It may be a Democrat who want to be crazy, because we got a couple of them walking around. But the point is, it's going to be interesting, and I think that's really good. I got a question, because instead of us going to a break, I'm just going to ask this question, and then you all can respond to it the best that you can. Do you think that right now the country and at this table is a reflection of it? Because you're very disenfranchised with Biden and what he's doing. You're very disenfranchised, but you still want to be a part of the process of voting. I am very much in the middle, saying this is just disgraceful in certain things. How do you think this is going to fare out with people like yourself? And if I'm mischaracterizing, please correct me. Who's basically said, I'm not voting for him. I'm not voting for him. I'm voting for a third party. I'm voting for Daffy Duck. How? And then Trump has still got his core base. And then how does this election come out? Is what I'm trying to get an understanding.
So I'll say this: one, I always encourage everyone to go vote, no matter what. Right. But you have to also know what's on the ballot. So again, why the president, and I'm not taking anything away from the president has tremendous power, right? When it comes to our everyday life, those lower down the ballot, even though, you got to scroll a little bit, those are the positions that are going to have more impact on your day-to-day life.
But what I'm really hitting at is the president's race.
President? Right.
And the reason why I'm hitting on the president is because I think a lot of people will do what you're saying. They're saying, look, I'm not going to vote for that man, especially if this war is going on. This is inhumane. But it's like, how do we handle this? And I'm honestly, I'm open for, I'm not trying to accuse, because Donald Trump got a loyal base. He can kill somebody on 5th Street. Not 5th Street, but what is it? Yeah, that's what he said, right? 5th Avenue. And they'll let him do it. How do we handle the outcome of an election, because the couch is going to outnumber all of them? You have no comment?
I get rid of the whole system. That's just.
But they're not going to get rid of the system. We got to vote this. We got to vote in November. We got to vote.
I think if a large mass of us say that we're going to do something different, then the difference will happen. That's what change and movement is about.
Right, it is.
That's what when you have a mobilized group of people. But if you keep saying people, I'm going to do the lesser of two evils and vote for Biden, then of course we're going to continue to have the same thing if people aren't willing to mobilize and say that one person can't change something. So it reminds me of a conversation I was having the other day real quick about school systems. Someone was upset with me because my kids didn't go to public school. And I said the only way my kid would go to that public school is if a group of us said we're going to go in together and change it. Because most of our kids, a group of us. So if it's only an individual of us and most of us want to stay on the Biden side and continue to allow what he's doing and the Democratic Party to do what they're doing, we want to keep saying we're Democrats and follow Biden, then we're going to continue to be in the same thing. I actually think it's their fault because they keep following and doing the same thing that has never worked for us.
But we're up against, forget about the lesser of two evils, we up against, one of the two going to become president. One of the two. The third. That's
okay.
So we're willing, I don't know how to ask the question. And I brought that up because I want you all who are watching us to ask that question. What are we going to do? Because there is a group who's saying, I'm going to stay on the couch. I may vote for the city council. I may vote for the governor. I'm not voting in the presidential election. And then there's a group who is saying, and I have to even deal with that in my house. Because, my wife is very concerned about certain things in politics. My daughter, who is not a person who's voting yet, has raised some concerns. And I'm in the middle saying constantly, we have a constitutional obligation to vote. But I'm not saying I'm discounting what you're saying. I'm not discounting.
I think making a decision not to vote is participating. If I decide me deciding to do something or not do something is participating in the system. So I think we come from very different ideologies on what it means to participate. To participate means I get to make a decision. Just because Rosa Parks said we could sit anywhere on the bus now does not mean I have to sit in the front. Right. I have the option to do what I want at this point.
Yeah,
it wasn't for me to sit in the front.
Not voting is not participating.
But not voting is participating.
Because what you're doing is you're putting it in the hands of those who will vote, and that means they made my decision.
And I respect your opinion, but my opinion is that it's not. Making a decision not to participate is me making my decision not to participate in something. Is participating. That is an active decision.
And again, I'm open to hear any of your comments, and many of you have stopped me at the supermarket. You have stopped me at Dunkin' Donuts. You stopped me many different places.
I'm not voting for genocide, Joe.
And you have made many comments to me, and I've taken them. I have very thick skin, and I'm fine with the criticism as well as the praises. But right now, we're in a quandary. And we have to be able to solve this, because what I paid attention to the Republican side is that he is winning every primary because he got a base that will not shake him. He can kill everything. And I'm just scared. Not for me, because here's the truth. Under Trump, I fared better. My economics were better. But I also have a heart for people, as the Biden administration certainly have helped as it relates to the money that has been given to organizations that I support very strongly. So do I go selfish and say, I don't care? Or do I say, you know what, for the good of the people, I'm going to do A, B, C, or D? I know it sounds like I'm trying to persuade one way or the other. That's not my goal. My goal is to open up conversation, and I think we're going to start doing this.
I don't think it's about not caring. I think people can make a decision to not participate as participate. It doesn't mean they don't care. Actually, they do care, right? They just care in a different way that's different from yours.
And I have to respect that. And I have to respect that. All right. Anything else from your table today?
That's all I have.
Anything else from your table today?
Nothing at all.
Great show today. I hope and trust that you enjoyed the show. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, please feel free to communicate with us. Follow us. Like us. Be a part of this community called the E. Zion Fair. And this is the source, and I appreciate it. Before we let you go, though, we do have a tribute. Last week we did, and thank you for your comments of accolade. We do have a tribute this week for HBCUs. Dr. Tony Allen was with us this morning from Delaware State University and the concert choir from Delaware State University, and Lincoln University's president, Dr. Brenda Allen, and they're not related, but she was with us today with the Lincoln University concert choir. Great time, and it was a great opportunity. Next week, join us when Sherelle Parker will be our guest speaker at the 11:30 service. We thought we were going to have Wilson Good, but something unexpected happened, so he's not able to come. But guess what? I did not forget about some of the giants right here local. So I've asked Mayor James Seals to be our speaker. He's agreed he will be the speaker for this coming next Sunday. Please join us at the 9 a.m. as we hear from a Morehouse man, another HBCU. Both of them are from HBCUs. Sherelle Parker is from Lincoln University.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom.
Historically black colleges and universities, both public and private, were established in the United States before the Civil Rights Act of 1964. From their inception, HBCUs provided black individuals with access to education, a right denied during slavery and segregation, offering a safe space for learning, discovery, and community building. Despite constituting only 3% of American academic institutions, HBCUs play a vital role in bridging the opportunity gap in higher education. These institutions have consistently produced influential trailblazers from minority ethnic groups, solidifying their importance in academia. Why HBCUs exist? Before the abolition of slavery in 1865, anti-literacy laws barred enslaved and free black individuals from education. Slave owners and anti-abolitionists feared that education would lead to loss of control. Even after abolition, black students faced racism and discrimination at white universities, hampering their academic success due to knowledge and readiness gaps. Recognizing the need for reform, Quaker philanthropist Richard Humphreys founded the Institution for Colored Female Youth in 1837, evolving into Cheney University of Pennsylvania. In 1854, John Miller Dickey and Sarah Emlyn Crescent founded Ashman Institute, later Lincoln University, graduating a significant amount of black physicians and attorneys in the first 100 years. The Second Morrill Act of 1890 spurred the establishment of more HBCUs, requiring states supporting racial segregation to fund public institutions for black students. Despite challenging in funding and resources, this increase in support led to more black individuals attending college, necessitating more schools. Even after the end of segregation, in 1964, predominantly black institutions continued to open, now considered HBCUs. Presently, 107 HBCUs are spread across the United States. While no longer the sole path for higher education due to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, HBCUs continue to attract black students, serving as a refuge for cultural exploration and academic excellence without fear of discrimination. HBCUs offer groundbreaking STEM and liberal arts programs, affordable tuition, a dynamic atmosphere, and diverse student and faculty populations. HBCUs have seen a surge in enrollment from non-black students, comprising 24% in 2018, compared to 15% in 1976. This diverse enrollment has prompted increased federal support, with legislation strengthening educational resources, administrative capacity, and financial assistance for students. HBCUs stand as golden products of the African diaspora, embodying the strength and resilience of black people. Their rich culture and academic rigor has allowed them to persevere, as evidenced by a list of notable alumni, including Thurgood Marshall, Langston Hughes, Brenda Allen, Sherelle Parker, Clifton Brown, SZA, Stephanie Bolden, Spike Lee, Toni Morrison, and U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. In conclusion, HBCUs will forever remain essential and valuable contributors to the academic world. In the 1800s, HBCUs rose up all over the country. Maya Angelou said, "You may write me down in your history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise." Brothers and sisters, this is our tribute to HBCUs. They have survived over 200 years, and our latter will be greater than the former.
And if there's nothing else, I'd say
That's all I got.
see y'all.
Talk
Take
soon.
care, y'all.